All right, y'all, Rick Smiley, the morning show. Listen, we got national civil rights lawyer Ben Crump is back again this week to update us on yet another senseless ending of a black life. Until recently, the case involving 26-year-old Louisville, Kentucky woman Breonna Taylor has gone under the radar, due to the, all the stuff going on with COVID-19 or whatever. Somehow this one just kind of didn't get the national attention, that it deserved. Or whatever. But back on March the 13th, Breonna Taylor, an emergency medical technician, an inspiring nurse, was killed after being shot at least 8 times in her home by Louisville Metro police officers. Y'all give it, Ben Crump, welcome to the show. Ben, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rickey, for helping bring attention to Breonna Taylor's life, because her life mattered. And as you said, it's been 2 months, and the family has gotten no answers why she was executed in her own home. And Rickey, we think it's clear this was the result of a botched execution of a police search warrant where they didn't announce themselves or anything at 1 o'clock on a Saturday morning, Friday morning. She sleep in the bed with her boyfriend, Kenny. They use a battering ram to bust down her door. They even called 911 saying, we think somebody is burglarizing our home. It's a home invasion. So Kenny, who is a licensed gun owner, has a gun permit, gets his gun out, and when they come through the door, he shoots, thinking that they are intruders. The police then shoot almost 25 to 30 rounds from the windows outside, the patio door, the front door, and Breonna Taylor's body is mutilated with bullets. She's practically naked. This is a young lady who has never committed a crime in her life. It's just unconscionable that the police would do these type of things in our community, and then when they kill an innocent person, they give her mother the runaround, sending her to the hospital to wait for hours when they know her body is dead in that apartment the whole time, because they're trying to get the cover up straight. And that's why if you ran for Mod, you got to stand for Bree, because our black women lives matter too.
So her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, was with her at the time of the police raid on their home, and now he is charged with attempted murder for shooting one of the officers. Now, how is this possible when the police did not announce themselves? They didn't. They could have knocked on the door. They could have rung the doorbell. They could have called the cell phone. They could have said, "Hey, we have a search warrant. We have a warrant." He was acting in self-defense as a licensed gun owner. What am I missing?
Exactly, Rickey. And I think they arrested him because they knew they messed up, and they're trying to throw everybody's attention off. Do African Americans have a right to the Second Amendment? That is a serious issue here, because this brother was trying to protect his woman and his home from people he thought were home invaders and were going to cause harm to them. And so now he's sitting in jail, and they let him out finally. A black judge, Olu Stevens, let him out because when he looked at these facts, he said, but you all said y'all identified yourselves. All the neighbors said they didn't hear anybody say the police or announce police. And now yesterday, Rickey, they just came out and said, oh, it was a no-knock warrant, and we never identified ourselves. So that's why we're saying Kenny Hunter should be released immediately. The 911 tapes that they caused and they were being burglarized should be released.
Right.
And these officers should be terminated and arrested.
I just don't understand, Ben. I just don't think that this whole system and laws are set up for us. They brought us to this country, used us to build the country, and now, with the help, with it all coming from the top, Sean, you go to Sean King's Instagram pages like every day, with police officers and white police officers brutalizing and attacking black unarmed citizens beating up a little girl. I saw Sean King had one video where they was brutalizing a 14-year-old, punching them in the face, like we animals, like we dogs or something. And I swear, like I don't know, Ben. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I tried to explain in my book, Open Season, to legalize genocide of colored people. The very laws that are supposed to protect us, they're using them to kill us. And in fact, Rickey, Smiley, today is the 1-year anniversary of the execution of Pamela Turner outside of Houston, Texas. You remember the sister who was on the ground and saying, I'm pregnant. And the police officer who was standing on his feet shot at her 5 times, killing her. And it was all captured on video. Well, we got evidence finally today on that the police were lying and misleading her family when they said because she took the taser that this unconscionable police officer who assaulted and battered her she took the taser from him because he was tasing her when she kept saying, I'm just trying to go home. He threw on the ground. And they struggle. She gets the taser. He gets on his feet. And then he says, as he's 5 to 7 feet away from her, shooting down at her while she's still on the ground, he had to do it because she could shoot him with the taser. Well, we now know that is a lie. The model taser that he was using, she had to remove the prong, then she would have to replace a new cartridge before she could fire it. And so we're demanding Kim Ogg at the Houston district attorney charge this murderous coward for shooting this black woman on video while she was down on her back.
Right. The thing about it being, protesting and standing in a circle, holding hands, praying, ain't none of that stuff working when you got a president. And I think a lot of these bad police officers are members of the Ku Klux Klan, if you ask me. And it just seemed like I just don't understand why it seemed like we just hate it. Video after video after video after shooting of unarmed black people. It just make me so angry. And I'm sitting here telling people, hoping that people would arm themselves. But damn, you get into a damn gun battle with the police coming in your house. It's like damn if you do and damn if you don't. And it's just we don't know what else to do. I mean, we are in a real bad predicament just because we're black. And I feel terrible right now for them breaking in that woman's apartment, shooting that lady down like that or whatever. And how these police officers penetrating police departments, and why are they sending white officers into black communities? Because you don't see no black men shooting up and killing. The one black man that killed that lady in Minnesota, he's been sentenced. He's in jail right now. You understand? But ain't no black police officers out here killing white women.
Yeah.
2 questions. Have the officers involved been charged at all? And why this incident?
Say the question again.
Her mic. Go ahead.
Involved.
Yeah, her mic is going out. She's broadcast. Everybody's broadcasting from home, Ben. But go ahead and say what you were saying.
No, I think she said, had the officers been charged? They haven't been charged. They have been assigned to desk duty at this
all
point.
Of them.
It was all 3 white police officers who, from what we understand from the community, they say these 3 white officers have a history of harassing black people. They served these warrants. And by the way, Rickey, they were in plain clothes. They didn't have any identifying things saying they were the police. And so if you Kenny Hunter at 1 o'clock, somebody coming through your door, they ain't got no police uniform on. They never announced themselves as police. What are you supposed to think? And so that's why we got to get out.
Yeah, and they want to charge him for attempted murder for trying to defend himself, and they get no charges for murdering a black woman.
Exactly.
Look at the comparison. Look at the comparison. Hey, y'all, more with Ben Crump coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. All right. right, y'all. Rick Smiley Morning Show 80. We got Ben Crump on with us this morning. Just anybody that's just joining us. Let me find it right here. Between the National no, that's the gun association. I'm sorry. Here you go, Ben. The National Civil Rights lawyer Ben Crump is back with us again. Now, until recently, the case involving 26-year-old. She was only 26 years old. Louisville, Kentucky woman Breonna Taylor has gone under the radar. Now, back in March the 13th, an emergency medical technician, getting ready to be a nurse and everything, she was killed after being shot at least 8 times in her own home by Louisville Metro police officers. She did nothing wrong. She was at home, in the bed, sleep, essential worker, trying to save lives, working in the in the hospitals. And her boyfriend thought that somebody was breaking in their house, and he was trying to defend themselves, him and his girlfriend, and she ended up getting killed, and he shot a police officer, and now he is in jail for attempted murder of a police officer. And so Ben, I guess what I want to ask now, because I don't think, I definitely don't think, when those people down in Brunswick, Georgia, seen those Black Panthers and black folks ain't playing with their ass, I definitely don't think you'll see more stuff like that. But I think they will be coming in the form of police officers doing stuff like this and using that as an excuse to harass and murder people of color. Because they don't break in nobody's White House. You don't see nothing on the news of them breaking in somebody's White House and going in there like that with that kind of police force killing them.
You're absolutely right, Rickey Smiley. They have to have more sensitivity training. They have to have more training of conflict resolution, more de-escalation when it comes to our communities. I just wanted to digress for a second. Breonna was 26 years old. Ahmaud Arbery would have turned 26 had he not been gunned down by those murderous thugs, that father and son duo. And
Trump supporting racists.
He been living today. He would be 26 years old. I mean, we're losing our young people before they can develop into their full potential. And Breonna seemed like she has so much potential. Like you said, she was on the front line battling against the coronavirus. She was working at 2 hospitals, Rickey, and her mother was always worried about her putting on her gloves and making sure she's wearing her protective mask so she wouldn't get hurt or die from catching the coronavirus. And here it is, she dies from police just unethically and illegally entering her house at 1 a.m, not announcing themselves. And so the good news is this, Rickey. Just like with Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, I do believe these police officers are going to be charged as long as we raise our collective voices. Everybody needs to be calling the Commonwealth Attorney in Louisville, Kentucky, and calling the police chief in Louisville, Kentucky, saying that we need answers for Breonna Taylor. Her life mattered, and you all need to do your jobs, because these police officers have a checkered past when it comes to charges of excessive force on black people. I mean, they were the jump out boys, Rickey. These are the guys who harass young black men predominantly over selling marijuana, even though marijuana is legal in most states. So that's what we're dealing with. But if we come out and we unite, strategize, organize, we can win these battles. I mean, Louisville has Democratic elected officials because it has a strong population of black people. So us as black people, we have to vote. We have to get the right people in office. And if they don't charge on Breonna Taylor, we got to get whoever's in office out of office. Just like we did with Trayvon Martin. We elected the first black DA in Florida's history in the aftermath of Trayvon Martin. And Michael Brown, in the aftermath of his killing, we elected the first black DA in St. Louis County in history. When Tamir Rice was killed, we got rid of his DA when he didn't charge the killer cop. So when we organize, we win. We just got to continue to be vigilant and focused and remember Breonna's face.
I'm gonna say this, man. All these black folks that went and joined these white churches, and your pastor ain't speaking out against stuff like this. If your black pastor ain't speaking out against stuff like this and using some of Dr. Martin Luther King's theology, if that's the word, and trying to train them, man, forget what good is prosperity preaching? What good is that? If we can't go to sleep at night, we can't go jogging. I mean, I wanted to go walk in my neighborhood yesterday, and I'm literally afraid to go walking. I was scared to go for a jog yesterday. Like I said it, I just went on in the garage and just jumped on the treadmill. And see, and all of these, the LGBT community, they don't stand with us when Black Lives Matter out there on the front line trying to fight the women's H2 movement. Or whatever, they left leaning, liberal leaning, but they don't stand with us, and you'll never see none of them out there, and Dr. King, and I've been thinking this even before I realized that this is something that Dr. King said. White silence is a problem. If your white friends ain't and listen to me, if your white friends and your white coworkers and your white pastor and your black pastor and your black friends and your black coworkers ain't speaking out against even this case and Ahmaud's case, if no other case, if this don't disturb you or get you angry or get you upset or whatever, until they start speaking out, because if somebody's laying down on the ground getting raped and you just go on to your car and get in your car and drive off, you are just as guilty. You're just as guilty. You see this stuff on the news, but you want to collect tithes and offering and all this kind of stuff. You don't speak up on equality. What good is it to go to heaven 80 years later and have hell on earth? What good is it? Man, I'm telling you, man, I'm just disturbed by this, and I'm really upset. I'm in tears this morning that my daughter's 23. What happened? She's a college student. I have 2 daughters. They can't go to sleep. They can't go jogging. I got an 18-year-old son, and I'm scared he out here trying to make money delivering food. I got 2 kids that deliver food. My daughter delivered food up at Tennessee State University trying to... God damn. Damn a song. I'm mad, Ben, like for real. Because I tell you, man, if they kill my kids, Ben, it won't be no more Rickey Smiley morning show. It'll be the Brat or Evil morning show, because I'm dead. I promise to God, I put this on the shield, bruh. On the shield. I'm not finna stand up here. I'm not finna stand up here and beg these white people for justice. It's not written for us. Dog team, I'm not doing it. I'll be dead. I'm angry, man, and I've been angry.
Let me at least say this, Brat. We have to, rather than curse the darkness, strike a match, because we have to remember our children's lives matter. And every time I get frustrated, just like you, Rickey, and God knows you do, when you see these racist judges dismiss cases where killer cops get to go back and have no accountability, and in a lot of instances get promoted, I say, well, why are we fighting? Why are we doing this? It's because they told our grandmothers and grandfathers that slavery was just going to be forever, and they never gave up. They kept fighting, and we got a precedence of overcoming whatever they throw at us, Rickey, no matter how many times they try to murder us and rape us and lynch us. We overcame the Middle Passage. We overcame Jim Crow. We overcame separate but equal. We keep overcoming, and they know they can't defeat us. And there are going to be times when things like this happen, but it makes us stronger because it brings us together, and it makes everybody call this Commonwealth attorney and Breonna Taylor case just like we did on Ahmaud Arbery. And when we have these instances, we have to use that emotion to get things done that everybody said couldn't get done. Like Georgia is one of only 4 states that don't have a hate crime law. And I pray that with Ahmaud Arbery's tragic killing, we can use that momentum back on June 26th when the Georgia Senate get back in power and session to say we're going to organize, and finally Georgia with all the black people you got in this state being harassed and having racial profiling against them, we're going to get this hate crime law passed in Ahmaud Arbery's name. And we're going to call Breonna Taylor name out to the Commonwealth Attorney so much, Rickey Smiley, that when you talk to your daughter from Tennessee State, when she's with you, you can say, sweetheart, we made sure that another sister's death was not in vain because I was thinking about you. And I want to give your listening audience the phone number, if I could, Rickey, to the Commonwealth Attorney to call them and, he do his job and charge these officers and drop the charges against Kenny Hunter, a black man who was exercising his rights to the Second Amendment.
Man, y'all ought to be surrounded that damn courtroom until they let that man out. That man was defending himself. He did nothing wrong. Nothing. Yep. And if we sit there, you know, no matter if you're the president of the NAACP or the SCLC or pastor of a church, any organization, 100 black men, city council or whatever, white and black, green, yellow, blue, LGBT, you need to be surrounded that courthouse until they free that man, because man, it ain't right. Hey, man, them folks is in the bed asleep.
Yeah, and you know what's deep, Rickey? If this was a white man, the NRA would be marching for him, but they are silent when it's a black person. Mm-hmm. I mean, silent.
Oh yeah, and that lets you know, and that's why everybody need to join NAAGA. You know, you understand? Because nothing else is working, Ben. We're gonna have to get out and vote. Just like we jump up and stand in line and buy them damn Jordans and lined up for them beauty salons and all that stuff, when this stuff open back up or whatever. This right here, these local elections, we've been talking about this over 15 years on the radio. We got the first African-American district attorney in the state of Texas elected when we was out here on the ground for Craig Watkins. You know Craig Watkins. And he reopened the Kennedy files and got a whole lot of wrongfully convicted black folks out of jail, out of Dallas, Texas, and I'll never forget it. And we've been on the front lines ever since. And man, we just gonna have to get out of pop culture so much and worried about what the housewives or this rapper or this reality show star or that person is doing, and get out here and do the work. Because people like us that have went to college and decided that, hey man, I can't live over here and live like this. Let me get out here and let me stand up for the people. But if we stand up for you or whatever, like I saw people trying to throw shade on you on Facebook or whatever, as if you the prosecutor. You don't win. Like, what do you mean you don't win a case? He's not the prosecutor. He's representing the family. He don't try cases with the family. If you know anything about law and how law works, I get mad when I see people get negative and start trying to go at people like you and Reverend Al, who wants to wake up and get death threats. Do you know how many death threats Ben Crump and Reverend Al get on a daily basis? Somebody out here standing up, and that man can, Ben, I know for a fact that you can go out here and practice injury law and be rich and have your house on the beach somewhere. Yeah. Ain't no, man, I was on Facebook. You wouldn't just believe some people or whatever, and just the mindset of some people or whatever, that they're just not really understanding what you do, and never had a conversation with you and Reverend Al or whatever, who wants to be a lightning rod and be threatened every day. Yeah. Hell, these families ain't rich. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's so deep because we got to remember the crabs in the bucket scenario where they talked about my heroes and your heroes. They talked about Martin Luther King like a dog. People forget that in revisionist history. They talked about Thurgood Marshall like a dog. But, you know, I'm not motivated about people trying to win a popularity contest. You understand when you look in the mirror what you're here fighting for. God gave us this blessings and this education and this talent to try to help the least of these. And so that's what we do every day in and every day out, because when I die and I go see my maker, I want to be able to say, God, I did everything I could do. I used every ounce of blessings that you gave me to try to make a difference in this world. And that's what it's about. And those people who are hating, they going to go and they going to hate forever. And for the rest of their life, they're going to be a critic, and they're not going to do anything. And that's what we can never get caught up on, people who don't love themselves. We got to be dealing with people who love themselves and people who are outraged when you see this kind of murder and lynching and raping of our people so much that you say, I want to come together and I want to do something positive. None of those people who are out there being negative, Ricky, are going to call the Commonwealth Attorney at 502-595-2300. Again, 502-595-2300. And tell him that we need justice in Breonna Taylor's case. Free Kenny Hunter. You are the Commonwealth Attorney who brought the charges, and you need to arrest the real murderers here. Oh, by the way, Ricky, the police officer was allegedly grazed in the leg, got out the same day. Breonna Taylor had at least 8 bullets in her body. The funeral home director told the family he believes she had 10 bullets, and yet nobody is being held accountable for her death. So I just stay with my eyes on the prize. God has blessed us. My law firm has made, we've made millions of dollars, but we have spent millions of dollars trying to get our people freedom and liberty and justice, because that's what God commanded us to do, to try to give justice to the needy, try to help the less fortunate, try to look out for the widows and take care of the orphans. That's what we do, Ricky Smiley, because we Omega men.
There it is, root to the bros, root to the good, hard-working bros out here putting it out on the line. Ben, love you, bro. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, Ricky, Brad, all of y'all. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart, man.
Bro, you already know what it is. Root, doggy. Hey, more Rick Smiley Morning Show coming up.